The woods are different after midnight. Every branch looks sharper, every shadow thicker. The trees themselves hold their breath, listening. The air stings with frost. Each time I exhale, fog curls up and dissolves, like smoke from a dying fire. Somewhere far off, an owl cries once, then falls silent. The silence that follows feels heavier than the sound itself. The shovel weighs more with every step. Frozen ground crunches beneath my boots like brittle bones. There's no path here, just black trees pressing close. Their barks slick with dampness, their branches scraping the sky. The smell of wet leaves clings to me, sour, earthy, almost sweet, like something left to rot too long. I keep telling myself this is the right spot, but in the dark, every tree looks the same. The forest feels endless, like it wants me to lose track. When I finally stop, my arms ache, my palms are raw, the shovel bites into soil with a dull metallic thud. And that's where it begins. The night I chose to bury something I swore I'd never see again. 2 weeks have passed since that night. I buried my old phone in those woods. After a late night call, I can't explain, can't forget, can't understand. I tell myself it was just a prank, some technical glitch. Maybe someone hacked my phone, but my hands still feel the cold metal of that shovel. Still remember how the frozen dirt fought back, how each scoop felt heavier than the last. The hole wasn't deep, maybe 3 feet down, just enough to hide it, just enough to keep it quiet. I wrapped the phone in plastic first, 3 layers of grocery bags, then dropped it in like a secret, like shame. The dirt went back easier than it came out. I stamped it down with my boots, scattered leaves over the spot, made it look untouched, natural, like nothing happened there. But something did happen before I buried it. The reason I had to. I haven't told anyone about this. Not my roommate Sarah, not my mother who calls every Sunday, not even my journal knows this story. Some things are meant to stay buried, except they don't always stay down. Tonight started like any other Tuesday. Sarah was out with her boyfriend again. The apartment felt too big without her laugh filling it. I made instant noodles for dinner. Watched 3 episodes of a show I won't remember tomorrow. Normal things, safe things. By 10:30, I was in bed, half asleep already. That drowsy place where thoughts turn liquid, where logic stops mattering. Then I heard it. Faint at first, so quiet I thought I imagined it. But there it was again, muffled, distant, but unmistakable. My old ringtone, the one I picked 3 phones ago, a simple melody I haven't heard in years, vibrating through the floorboards like a heartbeat, like something alive under the house. I sat up. The room was dark except for streetlight through blinds, orange bars across my wall. Everything looked normal, sounded normal, except for that ringing. It came in waves, ring, pause, ring, pause. The pattern I knew by heart. The pattern that used to mean someone needed me. Someone was looking for me. But that phone was buried, 3 feet under frozen dirt, miles away in woods nobody visits. It couldn't be ringing. The battery would be dead by now. Even if it wasn't, there's no signal out there, no towers, no connection. I pressed my palms against my ears, counted to 10, 20, 30. When I stopped, the ringing had stopped too. The silence felt wrong somehow, too complete, like the apartment was holding its breath, waiting for something. I convinced myself it was the neighbors. The Johnsons upstairs have teenagers. They play music at weird hours, use apps that make strange sounds. This was probably them, had to be them. Or maybe the plumbing. Old buildings make noise. Pipes knock and gurgle. Air bubbles sound like all sorts of things. Sarah always jokes our radiator speaks in Morse code. This was just another building sound, another quirk of cheap rent. I got up, walked to the kitchen, drank water straight from the tap. The cold helped, made things feel real again, solid again. But when I walked back to my room, I heard it, softer now, coming from below. I knelt on the floor, pressed my ear to the hardwood. There, steady, distant, calling. The rhythm was perfect, too perfect for pipes, too deliberate for random noise. It was my ringtone, note for note, beat for beat. I pulled my ear away. The floor felt cold against my cheek, colder than it should be, and damp somehow, like moisture was seeping up from below. That's when I noticed the smell, faint but there, earth and water, something organic, something that didn't belong in a third-floor apartment. I told myself I was tired, stressed from work, from the project deadline tomorrow, from too much caffeine. The mind plays tricks when you're exhausted, makes you hear things, smell things, feel things that aren't there. I went back to bed, pulled the covers up to my chin, closed my eyes tight, but sleep didn't come. Not really. Just that thin place between awake and dreaming, where you can't tell what's real anymore. The ringing continued, software patient, like it had all the time in the world. I need to explain what happened. The night before I buried the phone, why I had to do it. It was past 2 a.m. I was scrolling through social media, reading nothing, seeing nothing, just moving my thumb up and down, a habit more than anything. Then my phone lit up, an incoming call. The caller ID made my stomach drop. M.E. Just those 2 letters, where a name or number should be. M.E. I stared at it. The phone kept ringing, vibrating in my hand, the screen pulsing with light. M-E-M-E, I almost didn't answer. Should have thrown it across the room. Should have turned it off. But curiosity is stronger than fear sometimes. Stupider too. I swiped to answer, held it to my ear, said nothing. At first, just breathing, slow, measured, like someone trying to stay calm. Then a voice. My voice, but different somehow. Older maybe, or just tired. I know what you did in the garden. The words hit me like ice water. The garden, my grandmother's garden, 10 years ago. The thing nobody knew about. The thing I never told anyone. You thought nobody saw, but I saw. I was there. My hand shook. This wasn't possible. Nobody knew about the garden, about what I found there, what I had to do. You can't hide from yourself, Emma. Then laughter, not quite mine, close but wrong, like hearing a recording of yourself played backwards. Familiar, but alien. The line went dead. The phone screen showed the call had lasted 13 seconds, but it felt like hours, like time had stretched and twisted. I tried to check the call log. Nothing there, like it never happened. But I knew it did. My hands were still shaking. My grandmother's garden still fresh in my mind. That's when I decided. The phone had to go, had to disappear, had to be buried where it couldn't reach me anymore. The smell got worse after that first night. Not all at once, gradually, like something slowly spoiling. It started in my bedroom, just a hint when I woke up. Earth and dampness. I thought maybe I'd tracked mud in somehow, checked my shoes, clean, checked the windows for leaks, dry. Sarah didn't smell anything. You're imagining things, she said over breakfast. Maybe you're getting sick. But I wasn't sick. I felt fine, except for the smell that followed me, from bedroom to bathroom, Kitchen to living room, always there. Always faint, always wrong. By the third day, it was stronger. Not just earth now, something else. Metallic, like copper pennies, like old batteries, like blood. I scrubbed the floors with bleach, opened every window despite the cold, burned candles until Sarah complained about the smoke. Nothing helped. The smell remained, settled into the walls, into my clothes, into my skin. I showered twice a day, 3 times, hot water until my skin turned red, soap until my hands went raw. But when I stepped out, there it was, waiting, patient. At night, it was strongest, rising up through the floorboards, seeping through the cracks. I started sleeping on the couch, then in Sarah's room when she was out. But the smell found me, always found me. I knew what it was, where it came from. The same smell from that night in the woods, wet earth and decay. The smell of things that should stay buried, things trying to crawl back up. Thursday morning. My new phone buzzed on the nightstand. Not a call, a notification, voicemail. Strange. I hadn't heard it ring, hadn't missed any calls. The screen showed no recent activity, just that single notification. One new voicemail. The number was unfamiliar, not quite random. Something about the digits felt deliberate, planned, like they meant something I should understand. I pressed play, held the phone away from my ear, ready to delete it if it was spam, if it was normal. It wasn't normal. Static first, then breathing, then a voice. May voice, but trembling, desperate, like I was crying. Emma, Emma, please, I need you to remember. My blood went cold. This was my voice, every inflection, every pause, even the way I say my own name when I'm scared. The garden wasn't the only time. There were others. You know there were others. The message crackled, broke apart, came back together. I'm still here, still waiting, still... The message cut off. Duration, 17 seconds. I played it again. Each time the words seemed different, seemed to shift. But the voice stayed mine. I tried to call the number back. It rang once, then nothing, not disconnected, not busy, just nothing. Like calling into empty space. I deleted the voicemail, blocked the number, told myself it was a prank, some new technology, voice synthesis, deep fakes, things that could copy anyone's voice now. But technology couldn't know about the garden, couldn't know about the others, the things I'd tried so hard to forget. My hands shook as I set the phone down. It immediately buzzed again. Another voicemail. Same unknown number. But I'd blocked it. That should have stopped it. I didn't listen to the second one, or the third, or the fourth. They kept coming, filling up my voicemail box. My voice, getting more desperate, more insistent, more wrong. The footsteps started that same night, after the voicemails, after the smell got worse, after I stopped sleeping. I was lying in bed, eyes closed but awake, listening to the building settle, to Sarah's music through the wall, to normal sounds of normal life. Then I heard them, software careful, bare feet on hardwood, in the hallway outside my room, not Sarah's walk. She stomps, wears slippers that shuffle. These were different, deliberate, like someone trying not to be heard, but wanting to be noticed. They stopped outside my door. I held my breath, waited. The doorknob didn't turn. No knock came, just standing, just waiting. I counted to 100, 200. The feet shifted, weight moving from one foot to the other, still there, still waiting. Sarah? My voice came out as a whisper. No answer. The footsteps moved away, slow, measured. Down the hall, toward the living room. Then nothing. I got up, opened the door fast. The hallway was empty, dark. The living room beyond was quiet. Sarah's door was closed, her music still playing. I checked the front door, locked, deadbolt secure, chain in place. Nobody could have gotten in, nobody could have left. Back in my room, I pushed my dresser against the door. Silly, paranoid, but it made me feel better, safer. 20 minutes later, the footsteps returned. On my side of the door this time, inside my room, walking from the window to the closet to the bed, slow circles, patient circles. I turned on every light. Nothing there, nobody there, just me and the sound of feet that weren't mine. Walking paths I couldn't see, leaving no prints, making no sense. By morning, they were gone, but I knew they'd return. They always returned now, part of the pattern, part of whatever was happening. Sarah found me asleep on the kitchen floor, curled up by the refrigerator. Its hum had drowned out the footsteps, had let me rest. "You need to see someone," she said. "This isn't normal." She was right. None of this was normal. But how could I explain? How could I tell her about the phone, about what it knew, about what was coming back? I had to go back, had to check, had to know. Saturday afternoon, Sarah at work. The woods would be empty. Cold had kept hikers away. Perfect time to see if I was losing my mind, or if something else was happening. The drive felt longer than before, each mile stretching out. The radio kept cutting to static, to voices that weren't quite there. I turned it off, drove in silence. The woods looked different in daylight, less threatening, more ordinary, just trees and dirt and dead leaves. Nothing special, nothing wrong. I found the spot easier than expected, like my feet remembered the path, like they'd walked it more than once. The disturbed earth stood out, even under the leaves I'd scattered. But something was wrong. The dirt was loose, churned up, fresh, like someone had been digging, recent digging. I brushed the leaves away. The hole was there, but different, wider, deeper, and empty. Number not empty. I grabbed a stick, poked into the hole, hit something solid, not plastic bags, something else. I reached in, fingers touching something smooth, cold, familiar. The phone, but wrong. The screen was cracked in new places, dirt packed into every crevice. The plastic bags were gone, torn apart, scattered, and it was glowing, faint, impossible. The battery should be dead, screen should be black, but there it was, pulsing with sick light, one notification on the cracked screen. Through the dirt and damage, I could read it. "You came back." I dropped it, stepped back. The phone fell into the hole, screen still glowing, still watching. I should have filled the hole, should have buried it deeper, should have run. But I couldn't move, couldn't look away. The screen kept pulsing, like a heartbeat, like breathing. Then it rang. Not the old ringtone, something new, a sound like wind through empty rooms, like voices underwater, like my grandmother humming in her garden. I ran, left the shovel, left the phone, left whatever was trying to crawl up from that hole. My car was still there, still real, still mine. But when I got in, my new phone was on the passenger seat. I'd left it at home, locked in my room, hidden in a drawer. It couldn't be here. The screen lit up, a text from my old number, the buried number, the impossible number. I'm not staying down there anymore. The text came constantly after that, day and night. My new phone pinging with messages from my old number, each one worse than the last. "She's in the shower now." I was in the shower, door locked, phone in the bedroom. Nobody could see me. Nobody should know. She's reading about burial sites. I closed my laptop. I had been researching, trying to understand, looking for answers that made sense. She's thinking about the garden again. I was. The memory kept surfacing. Grandmother's roses, what I found beneath them, what I had to hide. She's pretending to sleep. I opened my eyes, stared at the ceiling. The phone knew, always knew. She can hear me breathing. I could, software rhythmic, coming through the phone speaker even though no call was active, just breathing, patient, waiting. I tried turning the phone off. The texts came anyway, screen black but notifications appearing, breaking every rule of how phones work, how technology works, how reality works. She's looking in the mirror. I was, checking my face, the dark circles, the pale skin, the way I looked older, tired, like something was draining me. She doesn't recognize herself. I didn't. Features the same, but wrong. Like looking at a stranger wearing my face, wearing my life. That's because she's changing. I threw the phone against the wall. It shattered. Pieces scattered across the floor, screen going dark, finally quiet. 10 seconds later, it rang. The pieces on the floor, the broken phone, ringing with that underwater sound, that impossible sound. I answered, had to answer. A voice spoke, not quite mine anymore, older, hungrier. You can break the phone, but you can't break the connection. Everything became the ringtone. Every sound, every vibration, every moment of silence that might break. The refrigerator's hum matched the first 3 notes. The washing machine's cycle hit the rhythm perfectly. Even my breathing. In and out. In and out. The same pattern. The same beat. Sarah's alarm clock. The microwave timer. Car horns from the street. All of them playing that melody. That calling. That summoning. I stopped answering my new phone. Stopped charging it. Let it die. But the ringing continued. Inside the walls. Under the floor. Behind my eyes when I closed them. At work, nobody else heard it. You look tired, they said. Maybe take a sick day. But home was worse. Home was where it started. Where it lived now. In every corner, every shadow, every surface that could carry sound. I tried staying with my mother. Her house smelled like cookies and laundry soap. Normal smells, safe smells. But the first night, her landline rang. The old phone in her kitchen. The one she never used anymore. She didn't wake up. But I heard my voice on the other end, singing a lullaby she used to sing. But the words were wrong. Twisted. About gardens and buried things. Things that grow in the dark. I left before dawn, drove around the city, parked in empty lots, sat in 24-hour diners, anywhere but somewhere with phones, with connections, with ways for it to reach me. But it always found me. In the static between radio stations, in the feedback from drive-through speakers, in the echo of my own voice bouncing off bathroom tiles. I wasn't crazy. I knew that. Crazy would be easier. Crazy had treatments, medications, explanations. This was something else. Something that knew me, had always known me. The paranoia grew roots, spread through my thoughts. Every stranger might be carrying a message. Every reflection might show something behind me. Every shadow might be shaped like a girl in a garden, digging, finding, burying. The bathroom mirror fogged without steam, without heat, without reason. I was brushing my teeth. Normal morning routine, trying to pretend everything was fine. Sarah had made coffee. The smell should have been comforting, but under it, always under it, was earth and rot. The fog spread from the center, like breath on glass, like someone standing too close. But I was alone. Door locked. Just me and my reflection. Then the words appeared, finger drawn in the condensation, careful letters, familiar handwriting. Answer me. I wiped them away. The fog returned. New words. You know why. Wiped again. Fog again. The garden remembers. I stopped wiping. Let the words stay. Let them drip down the glass like tears, like accusations. My reflection looked wrong through the fog, features blurred, distorted, but the eyes were clear, too clear, and they weren't looking where I was looking. They watched something behind me, something I couldn't see. I turned around, nothing there, turned back. My reflection hadn't moved, still watching that empty space, still seeing something. I reached out, touched the glass. My reflection didn't reach back. Its hand stayed at its side. Its mouth moved, formed words I couldn't hear. Urgent words, warning words. The fog thickened, covered everything. When it cleared, my reflection was normal again, copying my movements, following my lead. But I knew it had been free. For those moments, it had been separate, its own thing, with its own knowledge. That night, I covered every mirror in the apartment, sheets and towels, tape and cardboard. Sarah thought I'd lost it. Maybe I had, but I couldn't risk seeing what might look back, what might not match, what might remember things I'd tried to forget. But even covered, I felt them watching, all those hidden reflections, all those other versions of me, waiting behind fabric and paper, waiting to show me something, to tell me something, to become something. The ringing led me to the basement, our building's basement, where nobody goes, where the storage units sit locked and forgotten. 3 a.m, Sarah dead asleep, the ringing so loud now, so insistent, coming from below, always from below. I took the stairs, each step colder than the last. The basement door was unlocked, should have been locked, building rules, safety protocols. But it opened easily, like it was expecting me. The darkness down there was different, thicker. It pressed against me, made breathing harder, made thinking slower. The ringing echoed off the concrete walls, bounded back, doubled, tripled. I followed it, past storage units with numbers worn away, past pipes that dripped black, water dot past things that might have been shadows, or might have been more. The sound led to a corner, a space between spaces, where the wall didn't quite meet the floor, where someone had dug, or something had burrowed. A phone sat there, my old phone, but also not. Too many cracks, too much decay, like it had been buried for years, not weeks, like time moved differently down here. It rang. I answered, had to answer. The voice was softer now, younger, scared. Please, I'm still down here. It was my voice at 7 years old, in grandmother's garden, after I'd found what the roses were hiding, after I'd seen what she'd buried there. It's so dark, so cold. Why did you leave me here? But I hadn't left anyone. Had I? The garden was just a garden. The thing under the roses was just... what was it? The memory kept shifting, changing, like something didn't want me to remember right. You promised you'd come back. You promised you'd dig me up. The line crackled, broke, reformed. But you buried me deeper instead. The phone went dead. When I looked down, it was gone. Just that hole in the corner, that impossible gap. But the smell remained, stronger than ever. And now I recognized it. It smelled like grandmother's roses, like the mulch she used, like the thing that fed them, made them grow so red, so wrong. My phone stopped working normally. Calls wouldn't connect. Texts wouldn't send. But somehow, Everyone seemed distant anyway. Sarah stopped coming home. Her things were still there, but she wasn't. When I called her from work, she answered, but her voice sounded far away, like she was speaking from another room, another building, another world. "I've been home every night," she said. "You're the one who's never there." But I was there, every night, waiting, listening to footsteps that weren't hers, weren't mine, weren't anyone's. My mother's calls stopped coming. When I called her, the number was disconnected. But she'd had the same number for 20 years. It couldn't be disconnected. Work emails bounced back, like my address didn't exist. But I still got other messages, strange messages, from addresses that were almost familiar, off by one letter, one number, like parallel versions, shadow accounts. The internet worked, but wrong. Every search led to pages about burial rites, about phones and graves, about voices that won't stay quiet. Links I didn't click followed anyway. History I didn't make appeared. My laptop's camera turned on by itself, the little green light watching. But the screen showed no application running, no reason for it to be active. I covered it with tape. The light glowed through. Impossible. Wrong. Social media showed me as offline. Last seen 2 weeks ago, the night I buried the phone. But I'd posted since then, hadn't I? The posts were gone, the messages unreceived, like I'd been erased, gradually, carefully. Only one connection remained strong, clear. The phone calls from nowhere, the texts from my old number, the voice that sounded like mine, but wasn't. That was always there, always reaching out, always pulling me back. My Wi-Fi network name changed. I didn't change it. Sarah didn't change it. But there it was. ME, password protected. But I knew the password, somehow. Like I'd set it myself. In another time, another place, another version of this moment. When I connected, only one site would load. A single page. Black background, white text. One line. You're almost ready to remember. The whispers on the phone got specific, too specific, about the garden, about what grandmother grew there, about what I'd found. The roses were so red that year. Remember why? I did. The fertilizer she used, special mixture, secret recipe. But that wasn't what I'd found, was it? You dug where you weren't supposed to, found what you weren't meant to. The memory sharpened, 7 years old, playing pirate, digging for treasure. My little plastic shovel hitting something hard, not a rock, not a root. Bones. You found bones. Number. That wasn't right. It was just, what was it? The memory kept slipping, like soap in wet hands, like something was protecting me from it, or protecting it from me. Small bones, cat maybe, or rabbit, but arranged, deliberate. The voice got clearer, more like mine, more like the truth. You showed grandmother? Remember her face? I did. Not anger, not surprise. Something else. Relief, maybe, or recognition. Like she'd been waiting, like she knew I'd find them eventually. She said it was our secret, our special secret. She had. Made me promise. Made me swear on the roses, on the bones, on something older that I didn't understand. But you didn't keep the secret, did you? I had. Never told anyone, never spoke about it. Until you buried your phone, until you thought you could bury everything. The whisper stopped, but the knowledge remained, the weight of it. Grandmother's garden, the roses, the bones, the pattern they made, the thing they were supposed to call, or keep away, or become. I never found out which. Grandmother died that winter. The roses died with her. The garden was paved over, made into a parking lot, covered in concrete, sealed. But some things don't stay buried. Some patterns complete themselves, even years later, even through phones and static and impossible connections. The voice on the phone laughed, software knowing. She taught you well, even if you don't remember the lessons. The flashes started during the day, waking moments interrupted by something else. Other moments, other memories, maybe. My hands holding the shovel, but not in the woods, in grandmother's garden, digging, but not finding, burying. But what? The image shifted. Older hands, still mine, in the woods, but not 2 weeks ago. Longer, the trees younger, the ground softer. Another flash, the phone in my hands, but not my phone. An older model, one I'd never owned, screen cracked in different places, showing a call in progress. Duration, 7 years, blinked. Back in my apartment, Sarah asking if I was okay. When had she come home? How long had I been standing there? My hands were dirty, soil under my fingernails, fresh, wet. You were sleepwalking again, she said. Found you in the basement, digging at the walls. Again? I didn't sleepwalk, never had. But my hands told a different story. My clothes smelled like earth, like the woods, like the garden. That night, more flashes. Me at 15, burying something in the backyard. Not a phone, something wrapped in cloth, something that wouldn't stop moving. Me at 20, different woods, different hole, same shovel, same ritual, like it was something I'd done before, would do again. Pattern repeating. But these weren't memories, couldn't be. I remembered my life, normal life, school, friends, first job, first apartment, no gardens, no burials, no secrets. The flashes got stronger, more detailed. I could feel the weight of the shovel, taste the metal in the air, hear the sound of digging, of covering, of completing something that had been started long ago. In one flash, I wasn't alone. Someone stood beside me, helped me dig. Their face was blurred, but their voice was clear. My voice, but older or younger or just different. It's time to remember, they said. Time to finish what grandmother started. I came back to myself in the bathroom, hands washed clean, but the mirror showed dirt on my face, in my hair. The reflection smiled. I wasn't smiling. Behind me, in the mirror, someone else stood. Familiar. Family. Grandmother. Young as I'd never seen her, holding roses so red they looked black. Nodding. Approving. Waiting. When I turned, nobody was there. When I looked back, the mirror showed only me, but changed. Older, tired, holding something. Not roses, not a phone. Bones, small bones, arranged in a pattern I recognized, had always recognized, would always recognize. The sound stopped being external, stopped needing phones or walls or air to travel through. It rang inside my skull, vibrated in my teeth, resonated in my chest bones. My body had become the receiver, the antenna, the connection. I couldn't cover my ears, couldn't run from it, couldn't hide. It was in me now, part of me, like breathing, like heartbeat, like memory. Each ring sent ripples through my vision, made the world flicker, show other versions, other times. The apartment became the garden became the woods became somewhere else, older, deeper. Sarah's face would shift, become grandmother's, become mine, become nobody's, just eyes watching, mouth moving, words I couldn't understand, or couldn't remember, or couldn't forget. The ringing had a rhythm now, a pattern, like Morse code, like language, like instructions. If I focused, I could almost understand it, almost decode what it was trying to tell me. Dit-da-dit, short, long, short, over and over, familiar. From grandmother's house, the radiator's knock, the clock's tick, the way she tapped her fingers when she thought I wasn't watching. I tried to write it down, but my hand moved wrong, wrote other things, words and languages I didn't know, symbols that hurt to look at, patterns that matched the bones in the garden, the cracks in my phone screen, the lines in my palms. The ringing got louder when I slept, became dreams, became visions, showed me places I'd never been, things I'd never done, people I'd never met, all familiar, all mine, all waiting. In one dream, I answered the ringing, not with a phone, with my mouth, opening it wide, letting the sound out. It wasn't my voice, wasn't anyone's voice, was something older, hungrier, finally free. I woke up screaming, but the scream sounded like ringing. Sarah was shaking me, but her hands felt like static, her words like dial tones. Everything was connection now. Everything was calling. It was on my bed when I got home, centered on my pillow, placed with care, my old phone. Impossible. I'd left it in the woods, broken in the basement, shattered against my wall. But here it was, whole, clean, like new. The screen was perfect, no cracks, no dirt, showing one notification, one missed call, ME. The timestamp was wrong, 7 years ago. The winter grandmother died, the day they paved the garden, the moment they sealed whatever was beneath. I picked it up. It was warm, like someone had been holding it, like it had never been buried, never been cold, never been away. The call log showed hundreds of calls, all from me, all 7 years long, all missed, all waiting, all patient. The phone felt familiar in my hand, not like my old phone, like something older, like grandmother's phone, the one she kept in the kitchen, the one that rang without being plugged in, the one she answered in languages I didn't recognize. I scrolled through the texts. They weren't from 2 weeks ago. They were older, years of messages, documenting things, movements, growth, change. The roses are planted. The pattern is set. The bones are in place. She's old enough now. She found them today. She's ready to remember. Time to come home, home. But I was home, wasn't I? The phone rang. My hand answered without thinking, without choosing, like muscle memory, like ritual, like inevitability. Hello, little gardener, grandmother's voice, but young, younger than I'd ever heard, alive in ways she'd never been, at least not in my lifetime. It's time to finish what we started. You didn't just bury the phone, the voice said, my voice, but tired, ancient. You buried me. The words made no sense, made perfect sense, made the kind of sense that hurts, that changes things, that can't be taken back. Every time you bury something, you bury part of yourself. Grandmother taught us that. United States, not me. United States, plural, multiple, how many? The garden was the first, but not the last. You've been burying us for years. Flashes came fast now, uncontrolled, memories that weren't mine, or were too much mine. Me at 7, burying a doll that looked too real. Me at 10, burying a diary full of words I didn't write. Me at 13, burying a music box that played without winding. Me at 16, burying photographs of people I didn't remember taking. Me at 18, burying letters addressed to me from me. Me at 21, burying a phone that knew too much. Each burial was a choice to forget, to separate, to deny. But I didn't remember choosing, didn't remember most of it, just fragments, glimpses, dreams maybe. We're all down here, all the parts you didn't want, all the memories you couldn't hold, all the selves you rejected. The phone grew hot in my hand. The screen showed my reflection, but multiplied, dozens of versions, all different ages, all holding phones, all waiting. But soil doesn't hold forever. Connections can't stay severed. We're coming back up. The smell of earth filled my room, rich, dark, living. The floorboards creaked, buckled, something pushing from below. You can't bury us anymore. The garden is full. I remembered now, or thought I did, or couldn't tell the difference. The shovel in my hands, that night 2 weeks ago, but also every night, always digging, always burying, always trying to put things down that wouldn't stay. But what was real? The phone? The body? The memories that shifted like smoke? My hands had dirt under the nails, always had dirt, even fresh from washing, even in dreams, like I'd been digging forever, would dig forever, was digging now. Sarah was speaking, but her words made no sense. Said I'd been gone for days, said she'd found me in the basement, in the woods, in places I'd never been, couldn't have been. But my clothes smelled like those places. My shoes carried their dirt. My phone showed pictures from there, pictures of me digging. But I wasn't holding the camera, couldn't be holding it. So who? The mirror showed truth. Sometimes, me at 7, still at 7, never left the garden, never left grandmother's side, still digging, still planting, still feeding the roses, but also me now, adult, alive, real, living a life, having a job, paying rent, normal things, human things, true things, both true, neither true. Truth didn't matter anymore. The voice on the phone kept talking, kept explaining, but the words were backwards, or I was. Time moved wrong, effect before cause, ending before beginning. You buried yourself, piece by piece, year by year, but we kept calling, kept trying to come home. Home, the apartment, the garden, the woods, the space between, all of them, none. I was in the woods now, shovel in hand, but also in bed, also at work, also 7 years old in a garden that didn't exist anymore, all at once, all separate, all true. The hole was deep, deeper than I dug, deeper than possible. Looking down was like looking up, like falling, like flying, like remembering. At the bottom, something moved, many somethings, all with my face, all with phones, all calling up, come back down here with me. I woke up, bed, apartment, morning light through blinds, normal, real, solid. Sarah making coffee in the kitchen, radio playing news, traffic outside, everything exactly as it should be, as it always was, as it had to be. Just a dream, just stress, just too much anxiety about nothing. There was no buried phone, no impossible calls, no grandmother's garden full of secrets. I laughed, felt silly, felt relief, felt real. My phone buzzed on the nightstand, new phone, normal phone, regular morning notifications, work emails, social media updates. Nothing strange, nothing wrong. Then it rang, unknown number, probably spam, probably nothing. But my hand was already moving, already answering, already knowing. Good morning, my voice said, but not from the phone, from behind me, from the mirror, from the walls, from everywhere. I looked at the caller ID. It showed my name, my picture, my number. You never woke up, the voice said, laughed, kept laughing. The room flickered, showed the woods, the garden, the basement, the truth, or lies, or dreams, or memories, or all of it at once. The phone was in my hand, had always been in my hand, was still buried, was calling from the ground, was part of me, was separate from me, was waiting, was patient, was hungry. I tried to hang up, but my hand wouldn't move, or moved too much. Was young, was old, was grandmother's, was nobody's. You can wake up, the voice said, but you'll still be sleeping. You can bury the phone, but it's already ringing. You can run, but you're already here. The laughter got louder, multiplied, became everyone I'd ever been, ever would be, ever was. I opened my eyes, was in the woods, digging. I opened my eyes, was in bed, dreaming. I opened my eyes, was 7, in the garden. I opened my eyes, was calling myself, warning myself, becoming myself. I opened my eyes. The phone rang. I answered. I always answer. I never stopped answering. Hello, I said. Hello, I replied. The conversation continued. Had always continued. Would always continue. In the garden, in the woods, in the basement, in dreams, in waking, in the space between. The phone I buried rang again. It knew my name. It was my name. It was me. Calling home.